Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Benedict here again from Tkinter Company's Sheets, and today I want us to move on with creating graphical user interface, where we'll connect our financials with the graphical user interface. So from my screen here, you can see I have a screenshot of a graphical user interface where we can register, we can log in, we can reset the password, and then lastly we can also welcome rather, and also enter financial period, and then enter period number, and then we run the financials. So let me just take you back where we need to do a Python code so that we can see how we can go about it. So first we'll start with importing rather from Tkinter. From Tkinter we'll import everything, and then from Func Tools we'll import virtual, then lastly we'll import OS. Then from here now we need to start with the main window. So start with the main window, we'll say root. Root is equal to tk, then root dot title. So our title here we want to say financials with a click, and then we'll say again root dot config. So here the FG color, rather the background color will be we want background color to be, let me use Sienna. We have Sienna 4, and then down here we'll say root dot main loop, and then this one will push it down because we want to get in some codes that will loop in before it's run. So let's first run this code. We see, so this is the window for the main root. So within this window we want to create 2 buttons for logging in and register, another label showing us to another label that will welcome us when we open this window. So what I will do, I will start with let me call this one labels. We'll start with the labels. So let me call this labels. So this is just a section. And down here we'll say I will say registration label, registration underscore label, or let me just call it label 1. Label 1 LBL1 is equal to label in bracket root comma text is equal to welcome to financials with a button click. Okay, and then just a moment, button click, and then we'll have a relief. Relief will be relief. If we have range, and then font. You want let's use Cambria 13, not Calibri 13. Then background color, you can use Indian red 4. Then now we can put this label 1 within a grid. So what we'll do here, we'll come down here and say lb1 dot grid, in bracket row is we want to put it under row 10, so it will be down within that window, row 10, and then stick is n add y, add x. We can use pad x as 15, and then pad y is 10. And from there again I need to let's try to create let's use a column span. I want to use 3. Let me use 3. Rather, let's just try to ignore the column span, and let's come down here and create buttons. So this will be for buttons. We have buttons, so we'll just be having 2 buttons for login and register. The first one will be for registration, so we'll start here by saying register reg underscore button btn is equal to button in bracket root comma text x is equal to register x is equal to register font we can use Calibri 12. Let's use Calibri 12. Then background color, background BG. So let me say BG. And BG is rather sienna. The background color for this one I want to use Indian red, then 4, and then what else can we add? And so let's put this within a grid. So I'll come down here and say reg button dot grid in bracket the row, let me use row 2, then stick is n, and then padding. So pad I will use pad y only, so pad y I'll use 10. So the same principle we'll use for this other button for logging in. So this will be log button. I'll write here log, then down here I'll also write log. The root register here is login. So this is not Indiana. I want to use the Sienna 4. So the row here will be, let me use row 6. Then stick will be n, padding will be, y will be 10. Then let's run this code again. We see what we have. Bird screen distance, Indian red 4. What do they mean by bird screen distance? Let me use Sienna. Let me run this. Bird screen distance. Still. Let me do away with the background color. So this was BG instead of yes, that is okay. So Indiana red 4 button. Okay, let me run this code to see what we have. Register is Indiana red BG. Welcome. I wonder why this one is not BG is equal to Indian red 4. Let me run this again. I see if there's still an error. So now it's okay. I want to make the BG color, rather the FG color, to be white. So here we'll write FG. FG is equal to what? FG color, I want to use white. Okay, that's all, but the width and let me do the buttons, rather the width for the buttons. So width is equal to 10. Also here also width is equal to 10. And then this should be calibrate 12, then bold. Let's use bold. Same applies to this one. Bold. So let's run this. So now this is what we have. So we have the register button and the click button. So you want a situation where when we click on this button for register, another window pops out for registration, and then when we click this button for login, another window pops out for logging in. So let's do that, but I will create sections for logging in and registration. So we'll start with the first the first section where we'll have registration. Okay, this I will call registration section. Registration section. So down here we'll have a function for registration, and within that function we'll have labels, we'll have buttons, and then we'll also have entries, and then we'll try the buttons with the function. So where we have the button for registration, I want to create a command here for registration command. So here we'll say command is equal to registration. Okay, so it's still an error because we don't have this function, but the function I will create it here. So def registration, then and come down here. So under registration we also must have a window for registration. So first what we'll do, I will come here with and create a registration window by saying a registration window, underscore window is equal to top level bracket root. Then down here we'll say registration window dot title. So the title here will say register. So the title here will say register. Then down here we'll come again and say registration dot config in bracket. We have background color. Background color I want to use Indian red for. So this one I'll use for registration. And then after this we'll have subsections for buttons, labels, and entries, and also variables. So down here we'll come down here and say let me start with variables, not variables, but let me start with labels. So I will create labels down here. So this is labels. Then under labels we'll create labels as below. So we'll have LBL1. So the other LBL is this LBL is a global variable, so I will not use LBL1. So I will use registration underscore label 1 LBL1 is equal to label in bracket registration screen, then text is equal to, so you want to tell the user to fill in the details in your fill as below, to register. Okay, and from here you want to have font as Calibri 13. So this is Calibri 13, and then bold. And after this, the background color will use PG color. PG color, I want to use a sienna. Let me use sienna. Let me see. So let's try Indian red. Indian red 4, and then after the background color, the FG we can use black, or we can leave it as default. Then down here we'll come down and say that I will put the registration level within a grid, in bracket row. The row is be row 0. And we have sticky N, and then add Y is 10, and then I want to have column span of 2. Then after this, we need to do another label we need to do 3 labels. One for registration notif, other 2 for password and username. So we'll start with the registration label, which is for username underscore LBL2 is equal to label in bracket registration screen. So text here is equal to, text here should be username, and then the width of this text you want is to be 10. Then font, we want to use Calibri 12. We want to use Calibri 12, and then background color. Let's try to ignore the background color first. Then we'll come down here and put this one within a grid. So registry2.grid in bracket row. So this will be, we want to put it within row. Let's put it within row 1. Then sticky is west. So the same will apply for the next label, but within a different row. So here we'll use row 2, not row 2 basically, but let's try row 3 just to give them enough spacing. So this is label 3. So this will be password. So lastly we'll have registration underscore notif is equal to label in bracket. So here we'll use we'll have registration screen. Then font, we'll have calibre 12. Then down here we need to put the registration notif in a grid, also in bracket. So which row we can use row 6. So we're just trying to space them, and then stick is equal to n. Then we have padding is equal to 10. So let's run this code. We see what we have. Let's register. So this is what we have, but the padding for paddings for username and password is not okay. So what we need to do, we'll come back here to these two labels. So here we'll create padx, not padx, pady. Yes, pady of 10. Then padx we can have 5, and the same applies to this one down here. Pady is 10, then padx is 5. So again we can run the code, we see how it looks like. See, I think this is better. So what we need to do here is now to create the entries. Entry in bracket registration screen. Then font, we want calibre 12. Font, what else do you want? So we can as well put this one within a grid. So dot grid bracket row is 1. So this will tie with the first label we get. Then column is 1. This down here. So this will be row. This will be row 3. So let's run this code. We see how the widgets appear within our registration window. Okay, this is column. So this should not be column span, but column. Not column span. Let's run it again. So let's see the column span for the first one. Did we have column span? So let's create column span here. Want to use 2. So we want to centralize the first label. So I think this one now looks better, but it still need to do the padding for the entry. Padx is 5, and then not the entry is not So here we have padex 5. One, then padex 5. So let's run this and see what we have. This is much better. So we have username and password. So the notif label, I want to use background color as Indian red 4. So I think that's okay. So from here now, what we need to do, this is for registration and this is for password. So we need to create the username and password. So but before then, let's create the buttons, rather just one button for registration. So down here we'll say this one is buttons. So here we'll come down here and say we just have one button for registration. So this is the registration screen. Then text. Text is equal to register. And font equal to calibrate 12 and bold. Then background color, the BG is Indian red 4. Then we need to put this on a grid. So dot grid. Within the grid we'll want to use 04. Use 04, we use not use 04 because the column span for the first label is 2. So this one will just use 02. Rather, we'll use 04. I was confusing the row and the column, so with this one I will use 04. And then sticky is N. Sticky is N. And then padding, pad Y is 10. Then I can as well use column span. I'm going to use 2. So I want to centralize this button within that window. So let me run this code again. So register, and then I want to add the width of this button. Width is equal to 10. So width is 10. That's okay. So what again we need to do, so I'll do away with this reg, it doesn't look nice. So from here now we need to do another variable for finishing our registration, but before then we must have variables for the entries. The variables will be temp name, a temporary name, and a temporary password. So we'll come up here and create the variables. So here we'll come here and say var like this, to mean variables. Then I'll come down and here and say so here we have temp underscore registration name. So temp name, so let's call it temp name underscore name is equal to string var, and then we also have temp underscore password is equal to string var. Okay, and then because these this temporary name and the temporary password, we'll use them within on a different screen. We want to make them need to make them global variables. So let me just come here and get global variables. Also global we have temp underscore name, and then we have global temp underscore password. Then again we must have another global variable for login, rather registration notif. So we'll have here a global reg underscore notif. So this was a registration notif, which is down here. So we have 3 global variables. From here now we need to connect with the, rather we need to connect these 2 variables with this entry we get. So here we need to say text variable text variable here is temp name, and down here we have text variable is password is temp password. So we have finished the first part of registration, but now we need to go to the second part where we'll finish our registration. So I will create another function. I will call it further def finish underscore registration. Let me just call it finish reg to mean finish registration. Then I will come down here, and now we want to say that name So this is a variable called name. So where we'll have the username name is equal to temp underscore name dot get. Then down here we also have password is equal to temp underscore password dot get. So we want to get this from the user temp dot get, and then from there again we need to come down here with the so this is all accounts underscore accounts. All accounts is equal to os.list list directory. Because we will be creating the username and password, we'll put them under os. So all the accounts for the username, or rather for the users, will be written within os directory. So what we need to do again, we'll come down here and say if name is equal to name is equal to nothing, or name, not name but password is equal to again blank, then we'll come down here and say registration notif dot config bracket, so fg, not font but fg, should be red. So this is the foreground color. Then so the text here, what we'll say about the text, or text variable but text, I will be tell the user that all accounts are all fields, not all accounts, all fields are required. Okay. And again down here we'll say again so we want to come up with a for loop, so we want to check if the username is within this account, this OS list. So we'll come here and say that if name underscore check underscore check, so this is just name check in all accounts. If name check in all accounts, come down here, so the name check in all account, and then you're saying if name again, if name is equal to name check, whatever name there we are trying to check is equivalent to the name, the username, we'll say that registration notif reg underscore notif dot config okay, in bracket fg is red, and then text. So here you want to tell the user that the account already exists, so it should not create another account. Account already exists. So what happens, we are trying to register name, but again the name we are putting is being checked within the list of the accounts. If the name exists, I will be notified that the account already exists. If it is not existing, is when we'll create that username. So we'll come again down here. So here we'll give it, say, return. Return. Again, this one as well, we need to put return. Then down here now we'll come and say else. So else, you want to create the account, else in bracket, but rather in bracket down here we'll say new file. So you want to open a new file, new underscore file. You want to open a new file and create the name of the user. Open. You want to open a new file and write the name of the new user. Skip. Then down here we'll say new file dot write. So we are writing the name. So the name that we are writing, we need the name written and the password also written. So we'll put them in different lines. So we are using the escape characters for different lines. Then again we say new file dot write. So we want to write password now. So it is new file dot write in bracket. So password, and again plus. So this again we are using escape character to create a password on a new line. Then down here we'll say new file dot close. After writing on the file, we must close the file. Then lastly we'll say login notif, not login but registration notif underscore notif dot config in bracket. So fg color here will be green, and then text. So the user will be notified that the account has been created successfully. We'll say the account creation successful. Then I think from there now we'll have finished registration. So let's see what we have when we run this code, if we can register. So we'll run this code and see if we can register. First, let me close these windows. But before then, we've not We've not connected this registration function with this button down here for registration. So we need to come down here and say so this one we need to say command is equal to finish registration. So that's the command. Let's check again what we've not done. So let's run this code and see if we've done the correct thing. So register. So username, let me use Joan. Let me write Joan C. Let me just first use Joan. So password I want to use 3434. So password is still visible. Register. So account creation has been successful. So let me come down here where we have the notif color. Notif. So then I want, instead of using green, let me use white. Let me try if you can also have font. Let me use Calibri 12. Let's run the code again. So register. So the name is so we register John. So let's try if we try to register John again, what happens. So I will write John, then 1212. Account already exists, so we cannot create another John. But let me again change this notif color. Notif, this I want to use white. This also use white. But it should be red to alert. So red color is always for an alert, but let me just use white to make it more visible. So let me close this. So let's register. We want to register. Let's register Benjamin. So password is 1212. Then register. Account successfully registered. So where we have the notif, let me change the column span where we have the registration notif. So I want to put the column span 2. So the notification will be centralized. So when I run this code again, so register. So we had Benjamin. We used 1212. Account already exists. We cannot register. But when we delete all the username and password and try to register, all fields are required. Okay. So now we are done with registration. Now we need to we need to do the logging in. So when we come back in our next video, we'll be doing we'll be coding how we can log in with the different how we can log in after having registered our details within the application. So let's stop at that, and when we come back we'll talk about logging in. So thanks a lot for watching, and let's meet again on the next video.